Rambo, I'm going to read you an article. And it's a beautiful article. It's a beautiful story. You ready? The Boaz City School System and the city of Boaz are mourning the passing of a local hero who died Wednesday morning following a battle with cancer. This local hero was a 1985 graduate of Boaz High School and also a teacher at Boaz Intermediate School. Okay, so we've got a coach and a teacher. He helped coach several sports at his alma mater, including football, basketball, baseball, and softball. This local hero enjoyed his greatest success on the softball field, where he guided the Pirates to 4 consecutive Marshall County Tournament championships from 2004 to 2007. This hero's 2002 team finished third in the Class 1A to 5A slow pitch state tournament, the final slow pitch tournament in AHSAA history. In 2004, this local hero steered the Pirates to a third place finish in the 4A state tournament. Ashley and Megan represented Boaz in the all-tournament team. Megan is now the softball coach for the same program. She started playing for this local hero in 7th grade at Boaz. I had never been so nervous in my entire life, Adam said. What would these older girls think about a little 7th grader playing on varsity? It didn't take me long to get over the nervousness because of the local hero. He changed my life forever for the love of the game and that he had, that I myself grew to love even more. Adam said the local hero's goal was for his players to become better and better each day as athletes and people. It didn't matter what was said or what was done. He could turn anything into a teachable moment. I'll always cherish many memories on the field that I had with him. He could get you fired up faster than anybody I've ever known. Sometimes he wouldn't have to say anything. He'd just look at you and you'd run out on the field, whooping and hollering. I will always cherish those days. Favorite memory of Adams is Boaz's victory over Brooks in 2004, sub-state playoffs that clinched a berth in the state tournament. Brooks beat us in the first game and we beat them in the second. The third, if game, was on the line. I don't remember the whole game. All I remember is Coach keeping us up and saying after each inning, "We going to the ship." We won and celebrated with each other and our families, and it was one of the best memories that I will ever cherish. Coach Hero always told us that we would always remember these types of moments that we played. But we would never remember the scores of all those games, and he was exactly right. I could tell you all the games I've ever played in and who we played, but couldn't tell you the score. To him, the score didn't matter. What mattered was that you gave your best and had fun. Adam said this local hero's influence and impact on her life led her to becoming a teacher and a coach. I am now the head coach at BHS. I cannot begin to explain to you what an honor this is. In my coach's office, Hero had left his Coach of the Year plaques. I had repainted the walls but hung his plaques back up. I will always keep them hung on the wall to remind me of him and the impact he had on my life. I will always walk on that softball field and remember him. I want to leave a legacy like Coach Hero left. You have fought the good fight. You finished the race. You kept the faith, Coach. You won in life. And I am forever grateful for you and your family for being such a big part of my life. I love you. Longtime reporter correspondent, Mr. Smith, and local hero were classmates at BHS. Their friendship remained strong for years. Local hero and I grew up together and graduated high school together, Smith said. We were classmates as far back as I can remember and always had a great friendship. A lot of people go their separate ways after graduating high school, but I don't think he and I ever went too long without talking. The local hero spent time as a co-worker of Smith for the Bose Parks and Recreation Department. Besides being a great softball coach at BHS, local hero was also a great slow pitch softball player, and after he finished playing, he was involved in softball in numerous ways. There was a period when I worked at Paradise Park Softball Complex that local hero was the Alabama State Director for the Independent Softball Association. There were many times when we would host ISA tournaments that he and I would talk a lot late at night and early into Sunday morning, waiting for our tournament to finish. I will always cherish the friendships and memories I had with the local hero. That friendship will always be special to me. He was a great friend, and he will be missed around the community. My family will continue to pray for his family now and in the future. Patrick Williams, assistant principal at Boaz High School, said he and the local hero go way back, even to youth baseball when they both played at the Olds Fields on Cherokee Street. We were in high school together, and then we attended Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State. He was commuting, and when we had a break between classes, he would sometimes come to our apartment to study or rest. Even though we were pretty close in age, I always looked up to him. Williams said the local hero was one of the greatest field goal kickers in Pirate football history. He was a senior on the first BHS team to gain a state playoff berth in the fall of '84. We didn't keep records back then, but I'm sure local hero would be up in our record books with his accuracy in kicking and extra points he made. He was a good athlete and a terrific coach. I guess he coached about everything here at BHS at some time or another. Of course, his biggest successes were on the softball field. He had some great teams, some state tournament teams. I'm sure his softball girls were devastated by his passing. With Coach Randy no longer coaching, I think local hero and I had started coaching at Boaz before anyone else currently on staff. It is sad that I will no longer be able to stand at games and talk and laugh with my friend. During teacher work days, we coaches often go to lunch together. Local hero was always the life of the party, and we all knew we would be laughing if he went with us. He is no longer suffering. I figure when Coach Hero got up to heaven, old Peyton Williams was there to greet his former PE coach. I'm sure they're having a good time looking down on Boaz. Lachey McKenna and I send our prayers up for his family. I'm really going to miss him. He was a great man and a good friend. A friendly rivalry. Albertville head coach Paul said he and the local hero enjoyed a friendly rivalry. We played against one another in high school basketball, then later in slow pitch softball, and finally we coached against one another. When I first started coaching softball at AHS, Boaz, with the local hero at the helm, was the team to beat. They had won several county championships in a row and had made state tournament appearances. He had some of the all-time great Marshall County softball teams. Woodruff said his early teams were driven by Boaz's dominance. One of the most memorable wins in my tenure at AHS was when we beat Boaz 1-0, he said. That game was probably the turning point for our program. We were really young and somehow hung on to be a really good Boaz team in a barn burner. I think they put 33 balls in play and we only put 2 in play. Ashley Gaskin had 10 or 12 strikeouts and gave up 1 hit. Luckily for us, it was to Constance Pams. She stole second and third, then scored on a pass ball. The local hero was always gracious in victory and defeat. When we made it to our first state tournament in '09, the very first email I received was from the local hero. That email still hangs on the bulletin board in our clubhouse. He would text from time to time the past couple of years just to say congratulations if we did good. The last text I got from him was this summer. He just wanted to tell Emily congratulations on a great year. I've always considered local hero a friend, and he will be sorely missed. Who's that sound like? Who's that sound like? What I just read was Jimbo's brother's accomplishments. His brother's name was also Jimmy. Jimmy was named after his father, Jimmy. Jimbo, out of his 3 half-siblings and his 1 full brother, is the loser of the family. He has accomplished nothing. Jimbo did not graduate from any college. He might show you a photo, but that does not prove anything. In order to be a teacher, you have to have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. Jimbo does not have that. But who else says they were a teacher? Oh, Jimbo, right? Jimbo also had alleged to people that he did not learn of his siblings until 10 years ago, which that can't be right. Because when his father passed away almost 20 years ago, all of his half-siblings were listed. Because once again, Jimbo is a professional liar. He is trying to assume the accomplishments of his oldest brother, Jimmy. Yes, he did. He sure the fuck did. Because if I remember correctly, the college he alleged he went to mysteriously burned to the ground with all of their records. So therefore, he was able to create his own diploma, which was not a fucking bachelor's degree. Yes, I was a brainwasher. He was taking on his fucking oldest brother, half-brother's persona. Because Jimbo has accomplished nothing in life, except for stay married to his indentured servant, Thelma, and marry an 11-year-old. I mean, he's known for that. There is an article out there that I have to find, but Little G found it last year and sent it to me. Hey, you two. Where he was starting up his own traveling teams, and they would have to pay copious amounts of money for their children to join, buy uniforms that he upcharged by 2 to 3 times his cost. And when there wasn't enough players for them to have a team, he would keep all the money because non-refundable. And I will find the receipt for that fucking article. I will find a receipt because there were a lot of parents fucking furious over that. Just like in 2005, after his father passed away, he assumed his father's identity and created an LLC in his father's name so he would not have to pay taxes on any of the money brought in. His dead father would be responsible for it. And if you think for 1 second, well, how can somebody get away with shit like this? It's Kentucky. That's why. This man assumes people's identity in real time, legally, and what he's been portraying to y'all. How many times have we heard he's a substitute teacher and he's been fired because of YouTube, because of us? How many times? At least 5 times in the last 18 months. I did reach out to the Kentucky Department of Education in December. Don't believe me? Reach out to them yourself. He is not listed as one of their certified substitute teachers. Judo messaged me today because all of his messages between him and Jimbo went through and deleted every message he sent, which that's exactly what Jimbo did to me 18 months ago when I was trying to prove that he was lying about Ernie messaging him because he made a fake Ernie account to message himself. Same shit Kemper pulls. Now, Am I in an uproar? Sure, because there are so many people out here that will still white knight for him. He never even played basketball in high school. Tell me of one 330-pound man his size is able to fucking dribble a goddamn ball down the court. No, it's his real name. Why do you think he is hiding his videos? Because he went after knee pads. Knee pads. One of his longest, most loyal subscribers and friends since he started that channel. She was done with him. She was done, and she walked away quietly. She didn't make a big fuss about it. She didn't ignite drama or a firestorm over it. She just walked away. What did he do to her last night? Well, not only did he start talking shit and making threats to her, he also was threatening her privately in text messages. I think he's a pussy. He's like the biggest male pussy I've ever met. Asked her to get that information. She provided it, and you dox the people, motherfucker. Do you think that creepy archivist records every one of your lives just for the fuck of it because she's bored? No, sir. It's because, guess what? Traitors is putting together probably the best premiere that is going to fucking blow your minds. It's going to take quite some time because, mind you, he goes live on average 7 days a week. There's a lot of shit to sift through, especially when you go live anywhere from 2 to 5 hours a night. I'm going to say this again. He keeps affirming that a cousin was responsible for the 2 arsons on his mother's house 6 days apart. I found the State Farm Court of Appeals that determined they were committing fraud. Insurance company found and named Jimbo in the Court of Appeals and found that there was fraud. They violated the policy, meaning AKA they knew he committed arson and he had something to do with it, therefore he doesn't have to pay. Now, had his cousin Jimmy Gray, or whatever the fuck his name is, was actually charged for the crime or been a suspect on the top of the list, the insurance company would have paid out. Jimbo, you did this, not your cousin. So, Jimbo, you may not have been charged for the arsons, the 2 arsons, but you were suspect numero uno, bro. You're always into some shady shit while trying to self-flagellate on YouTube. And frankly, this is getting old. So you struck blood with knee pads. You did. Nobody else. Jimbo has to take the blame for it, and now he's scared. So he went and hid 99% of his live streams on his channel. He left 5. He started live streaming in January of 2021. 18 months worth of daily lives hidden. They're not unlisted, they're privated. This moron thinks that if he privates his live stream, that YouTube can't do anything if you report the channel. Bro, that simply ain't true. This is their fucking platform. They can see everything on your channel regardless of the status. Listed, hey, unlisted, privated. See, you have doxed people. He's going to have to edit. He's going to have to listen to every live, edit it, republish. And even that leaves a footprint. Fucking Jim Slow. He's not deleting it because he's too arrogant and depends on it.
The county attorney involved now, big boy.
What? Did his voice just? Is that what happened? Did his voice break?